What are the most hurtful words you've ever been told? A presentation, and when I finished my teacher said, and this everyone is a prime example of what a failure looks like. You'll never be anything other than another dropout who achieves nothing in life. Save yourself the stress and give up while you're ahead. And the entire class of 30 laughed and nodded in agreement. That was 6 years ago. 21 now. I've got my trade. At 19 I bought my first house and currently in the process of starting my own business. I dedicate my drive for success to that piece of shit hope I'm making her proud. Well fine, I guess I'll just do it all. Context: I have epilepsy. I have certain times of day I'm more prone to them. My wife and I had happened to go shopping and gotten back right around one of those times. I told her to be safe. I'll take my meds and take a seat inside, much as I could regardless of time and my own safety. But she's been one to tell me you being safe is the one thing about your situation we have control over, so I thought she'd appreciate my doing so. Nope. She got upset I wasn't helping. My girlfriend's sister told me I could not accompany my partner in her visit to their home because I had had a psychotic episode earlier in the year. I was lucid and healing at the time. Never a threat to others either. Didn't even come to me to discuss her concerns. Just flat out said no after we'd been planning the trip for months. The most hurtful part was that she said she wanted everyone to be able to enjoy their visit, like my presence would hinder that. I have never been hurt worse by something before or since, and I do not know if I will ever let it go. Won't share the worst said to me, as I just can't. That as a nurse I worked for a few short months in a clinic that helped PLW scars. A 12-year girl had stretch marks from growing tall too quickly. Her mother came W her for the treatment. Literally told her halfway through that if she wasn't so fat she wouldn't have stretch marks. This girl weighed 38 kilograms, 83 pounds, which is well under average. I said loudly to the girl her marks were from growing tall faster than her body could keep up. Mum put in a complaint about me. The managers yelled at me, so I quit. When I asked a person close family for help, urgently and desperately needed, the only person I knew thought I could turn to, and I was told, don't expect me to take your side. This came from a close family member that I loved and would have done anything for, and thought they felt the same. They obviously hated me. I have seen now. They harm anyone close to them very covertly and effectively. They bring down anyone's happiness quotient they possibly can without being detected. I learned my lesson, and I keep my distance. Someday when I die, I hope you'll have a bad taste in your mouth for all the things you've put me through. My mother, when I got committed in the children's psychiatric ward. You know this is all your fault, right? If you weren't so fucking perfect, I wouldn't feel so bad about myself. My sister after her suicide attempt. I was 13 and she was 16. I still hate you and your fucking perfect life. I wish you didn't exist. My sister a couple of years ago when she was very drunk, I still held her hair and cleaned up her vomit. Manipulating people, and she said so many things that almost destroy me and my self-esteem. But the most inadvertently hurtful thing that was ever said to me was by my dad, who I respected a lot. He said, after I pretty much failed all my school exams, out of all of you, me and my siblings, I'm the one he worried about the most. While innocuous, it really hit home. He died a couple of years later, and he never got to see the success I'd make of my life. Can't get a hold of it. I was taken aback and heartbroken, to say the least. I had spilt some soup. I wasn't guilty of anything that deserved such a cruel statement. After all, I was only 11 years old. You follow me around like a lost puppy, said to me when I was a junior in high school. Was a very shy kid around groups of people I didn't know well. Was told this by the person I had considered my best friend for the previous 3 years. It's been about 10 years, and I still worry about being overbearing or wanting to spend too much time with people because I don't want to be seen that way. Not as bad, and I can generally push that feeling away. But it's still there. Don't come crying to me about your dead friend from Bali. That was my boss talking about my best friend of 20 years who was murdered in the Bali bombings. And less than 2 years after it happened, my crime was to disagree with them about a comedy show on ABC. They didn't like so dang a song about how we say nice things about bad people after they die. My brain shut down from the shock of what was said. It couldn't cope and I froze like Mitch McConnell. I was 10, I think. At a birthday party, only non-white kid. We played spin the bottle and a girl landed on me. She said, "You, I don't want to kiss the brown boy," and spun again. I've never felt comfortable making a move, no matter how obvious the girl likes me. When I was 6, my mum was driving me to speech class after school. I have a stutter. She told me I was a job to her, and because they had to take me to these classes, she lost out on a good job. Sometimes love just isn't enough. Cue end to my 7-year marriage. A close second is, after said marriage, not dating for 2 years, then going through a few people, and then finding the most amazing, beautiful, caring and loving person on earth. Give it 5 years and here. I don't want to be like your ex-wife, but your anxiety gets in the way of me being able to see a future with you. You dying inside over something I have no control over. A few months after my mum died, during the Christmas holiday, my dad got drunk and called me while I was at my brother's house. He went on a huge rant and ended it with, "And you never gave a shit about your mother." I took my mom's death extremely hard, still am, but that broke me. He's since apologized, stopped drinking altogether, and is doing way better. But I'd be lying if I said I still don't think about what he said and how much it hurt. You smile, Dad. My teeth are slightly crooked, nothing insane. He nagged me for years to get them fixed, promising to pay for it because I want to do that for you. I finally caved and went in for an exam, told him how much they estimated for cost, and his reply was, "Yikes. Good luck." He denied ever saying he would pay for anything. On the bright side, he never nagged me again about my teeth. I suffer from anxiety and neurosis and constantly feel as someone's watching me. On our religion classes in the middle school, our priest said that if we feel as if someone is watching us, it's demons and we should pray them away. I was traumatized for half a decade. Couldn't sleep or stay home alone and feared I am possessed. Funnily enough, it made me hate Christianity so much that now as an adult I'm a Satanist. Man, do I have a lot of these, but I'll only give one. When I was a child, my mother told me I'm a porcupine because I hurt people who get close to me. Was just projecting what she secretly hates about herself onto me. Yet, I've subconsciously been pushing people away and have been in therapy. That mother's words aren't a self-fulfilling prophecy. You are miserable all the time. Crap to be around and nobody likes you. That was an employee when I had to pull her up for her shoddy work, and she jumped up and screamed this at me before running from the room. Then she came back and apologized and said it wasn't true and that she was menopausal. The damage was done though, and I never felt the same way about the other workers after that. You'll never be loved or cherished because you look like me. You will never belong anywhere. No one cares about you enough to actually be there for you. You will be a burden to everyone else. From Dad to 11-year-old me after we argued about how he missed my birthday again. But looking back, I laugh because it seemed like he was projecting his own insecurities onto me. Lol. Wife had an affair. Told me that although sex wasn't a reason why I started, that I am smaller than her ex, she cheated with her and that sex with me was horrible. Believe it or not, we are working through our issues. But believing her about sex is the hardest thing for me. The rest of it all I'm doing good with. The small dick thing just hurt, even though I know it wasn't said to be vicious. Was on a date with my high school crush 3 years after high school. I was fat in high school and in college I got in very good shape. We're back at her place and I took my shirt off as we were about to get into it. She saw the stretch marks on my side and said, "Wow, I'd kill myself if I had stretch marks like that." I put my shirt back on, left, and never talked to her again. Night while my dad was drunk watching TV, I was about 13, he turned and said that having me was the single biggest mistake of his life, and that me being there put a stop to all his dreams of a happy life. He passed out after that and I don't think he even remembered saying it, but it always stuck with me and fucked with my head for years, still does from time to time, to be honest. An aunt that told me something like, "You would look good if only you weren't bald." I turned 20 recently. Back then, I was glowing down after a 1-year glow up that made me popular with girls. I was at the bottom of my self-esteem and hated my body as much as possible. And she did put salt on the open wound. I still remember vividly because it did kick a dead horse. My dad stopped that. It's pissing me off. When I was 6 and tried to hold his hand and ask him for a hug. My mum, I raised a monster. while crying on the phone with me, trying to explain I had to come back home when I ran away. It was my birthday, and her boyfriend who used to bully me and grope me all the time made me run away. What delectable parents. This actually happened last week. My brother is visiting from overseas. My parents, my GF, and I spent a week on holiday together. Just before we left, I thanked my mom for inviting us. She turned to me and said, "I didn't invite you. Brother did. You were only supposed to stay for 2 days." For some reason that hit me hard, like I wasn't welcome. One of my exes, after dating for over a year, nonchalantly said to me one day, "I went and had an abortion yesterday, so you don't have to worry about it." We were in our early 20s and talking about moving in together. I would have been happy having a kid with her. But instead we broke up. I suppose not the most hurtful, but ranks up there for sure. I never brushed my teeth in middle school, but it haunts me to this day. I can barely speak sometimes, fearing my breath smells. And if someone makes a weird face, I immediately think it's me. I can't even leave the house without brushing my teeth. I'd rather be late than not have brushed. I don't love you anymore. Ex-fiancé. 2 weeks before the wedding, she had the audacity to drunk dial me 3 months later, the first time the guy she left me for hit her, and asked to give us another try. I told her no and blocked her number shortly after. She's another tragic case from our hometown. But choices were made.